When I joined the industry, and perhaps women coming into that industry was for the first time. But when I came back in from Wharton, filled with self-confidence and a very purposeful kind of air about it, I must have seemed surely like a rookie to all those doyens in the tractor industry who had been pioneers in the space and who had actually opened up the whole market, and the concept of farm mechanization had been sold in India. It was beginning to catch on. These pioneers had been part of the Green Revolution in India, and I came into that kind of a situation. But I think as I reflect back, it's been, no doubt, it's been a rich journey. We were at that time a company well known for quality of products, but certainly working hard, striving for building volume, for a supply chain robustness that would ensure that we were completely indigenized, and to build in some R&D capabilities. That's where we stood. And from there to now, where we are an international tractor major, with a presence, with the third largest in the world today in terms of volume, and with about 70 countries participation. We have a good partnership with AGCO Corporation. We are their largest shareholder, the multinational company. It's been a really rich journey. And then the ability to work closely, the opportunity actually to work closely with educational institutions, management institutes, boards, and chambers and other industry bodies has also made that experience even more enriching. But sure, all this is what has brought us this far. But as we look forward, I think the company is completely aligned towards a larger vision. And we do need, especially in the context of the disruptions that have been happening in recent months, we do need new competencies. We need to adapt to disruptive technology. We need to build in even more agility and resilience than before. And this is the journey ahead. And I really look forward, while not resting on laurels to fill us with a sense of complacency, I really look forward to this journey ahead. So yes, it's been the learning of a lifetime in terms of the pandemic. I don't think to us, whether it was the Spanish flu or you talked about the plague or things like that, they were events in history. You read them, but I don't think for a moment we imagined that this would actually hit us. This is once in a lifetime, once in 100 years that you get to see this kind of a situation. And it's been a terrific learning for all of us. I think both at a personal level as well as at an organizational level, it's been tremendous learning. I touched upon the other day in the panel discussion, I touched upon a few of the points that have been key learnings for the organization, but I'd like to just touch upon 2 points today. One is, I think, the responsiveness, the agility and the responsiveness that is going to be required, not just now, but I think that's something that we are going to see having to necessarily inbuild into our organizations even for the years ahead. VUCA times we surely are living in, and it's going to be VUCA times for some time to come. So this is going to be an important leadership quality that we will need to inbuild, train, and institutionalize in our organizations. Now, even the simplest things that we want done, we can't do today with the same ease that we were doing it a few months ago. So we've got every one of us in the organization, I think starting with the leadership team down to the frontline workers, to everyone in the organization has played an equally important role in being extraordinarily resourceful. So, and I think that is one learning, that's a characteristic, and I think that's a winning quality that we would all need to imbibe. The second thing I would stress is learning is the importance of communication. We've had to communicate that emotions are running very high. Everything has changed at a personal level, at a group level, a team working level. So I think some are adapting faster, others are taking a little bit more time to adapt. And this is, emotions are, while they're running very high, the opportunities are also there, especially for women. We find opportunities for working from home are really increasing. So one thing I think is important to do is to communicate with all our stakeholders. And the pandemic, even whom we defined as a stakeholder has changed. So we're having to identify, reach out, share this vision that we have for the company, how we want to progress with the company, or how we want to deal with employees, our work policies. There have been lots of questions. And I think, I'm not saying we have answers to all of them, but I think it's important to communicate in a very honest, transparent way where this company is going, what is the road ahead, and how can we really make everyone a part of this journey, how important it is for everyone to demonstrate those critical qualities, keeping in mind our vision that remains unchanged. The path towards the vision may change and is continuously changing, but keeping that in mind, what is the role that each one of us will have to play in order to go towards that vision. Let me go back. And the first time I heard that statement was when I was a college student, and I was driving down, our city well, I think that. So in those days, maybe at that time, you're aware, this street used to be called, the street that we lived on used to be called Edward de Leon's Road, not Radhakrishnan Salam. And so we were driving down, my father and I, and I heard him say to me, Mali, please remember it's lonely at the top. And I was actually a touch sad to hear him say that, because he had always been such a cheerful, positive person. But the comment stayed in my mind, and I watched him to see how does he deal with this so successfully? How does he manage this? And I watched him and I watched other leaders. And really what I've come to realize is the first most critical quality to deal with this whole leadership journey is really self-confidence. First is self-confidence. Second, I think, is a conscious effort to build bonds, build relationships, build bonds, be open to feedback, interactions with thought leaders, interactions with other business leaders, interactions with gurus, if you may call them that, and all of this, and of course a good dose of spirituality. All of this comes together nicely as a package to help you to work through the leadership journey. Yes, first I think, and this has been my personal effort, is I think we need to make it a merit-based culture. Woman-friendly in terms of physical amenities, yes, that's a starting point, but I think that's pretty basic. We need to make it a very merit-based culture. That's the first thing. The second thing is of course, and you will hear some of my women say this all the time in our organization, say every interview panel, and I think we certainly need to do this more rigorously, is every interview panel needs to include compulsorily some women. So give them an opportunity to present themselves. That's the second thing. And the third, I think, is really to provide a good support group, a good, like we have, a TAFE Women's Initiative Network. So it's to provide a good initiative where they can share experiences, have social occasions together, and also provide the support, training, development, assistance for each other. I think those would be three broad approaches. I think maybe I'll make it 2 messages with your permission. I'll make it 2 short things. One, I think, is, as I would say to the men as well, with so much disruption, with so much change in business models, in approaches, in technology, we must as women, we are striving very hard. It's still a bit of an effort to get to the top job. So we must continuously strive to retool ourselves. Retool in terms of competencies, in terms of what is required for the job, what does the business require. So never stop the continuous learning journey and keeping yourself one point ahead one point ahead of the men in terms of the competencies and in terms of your own abilities. So that would be my first one. Second one, I think, is I don't think if you say, if somebody had told me this, it would have been good. But so I will share this as from experience. It's really the amount of energy. Women require a lot more energy to multitask and take care. They want to live all of us want to live a very holistic life. So we don't want to give up on some of those things that we enjoy being a woman, whether it's our friends, our family, our outings, or children, or whatever, or festivals. We don't want to give up on those things. So we want to have all of that, and we want to aspire to do more in our career. So that requires a fair amount of energy, and I think therefore I would say take a little time to take care. It's not always in our hands, but to take care of health. That would be my second thing. To stay fit, take care of health, and then that's the way forward. I would go back to that point on the energy and the health issue, that how critical good health is to achieving your dreams. It's been a good learning. So there was this whole debate about a few days ago in family about saying, can women really have mentors? Was a debate. I think this was a dinner table debate. And therefore I'll share with you my take, which has been a more practical example on this. So women find it difficult to have mentors. Is a conversation that is often heard. But my journey has been like this. I think I mentioned to you that I shared a fairly close relationship with my father, and through many discussions, through observation, to sharing of experiences, very simple one-liners that made you think deeper, I learned. And I think that was my first mentorship. Subsequently, what I found is very, very enriching, is that almost everybody you meet, whether they're colleagues, they're business leaders, they're the machine specialists, or they're technical people, R&D, whomever you meet in industry across nationalities, each one has something so special to offer. So if we can keep an open mind, I think you're learning every day. The critical is to really, and that's the approach that I have followed. I think it's actually quite amazing how educational institutions and even NGOs imparting social programs, and as well as corporates, everyone involved in education and learning have been very fast to adapt. Technology is providing that ability, that opportunity to do so, no doubt, and they're using it. Everybody has changed. Students, again, maybe having some trouble adapting. Some are taking to it like fish takes to water. Others are perhaps struggling through it a little bit more, but certainly it's shifting. In our own case, we were very heartened to see our digital learning programs, the number of people during this pandemic time who took time to retool themselves, look at their new competencies, and just absorb the digital learning programs that we put out was very heartening. It was amazing. It is amazing the number of courses people took on subjects of interest, maybe because, also we have a little bit less social interaction, and therefore there is that time that is perhaps available, which earlier maybe went to social interaction, that is now being used for digital learning. But there are people across the spectrum who are learning. So I think it's changed already. It's changed, it's here to stay. And perhaps now the content, learning from the pandemic, and some of the principles or learnings that we feel we have to institutionalize in our organizations, the content will also change. So campuses, corporate universities are coming fast and here to stay.